And now, it's time for
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened?
What happened, Simoni?
What Happened with Simoni Lawrence.
What happened? What happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. We went down to QEW and put our belt to Toronto's backside. And it felt so good. I'm talking about this was one of those games where we played the same as we played last week times 10. And that means we played together. Let's talk about it. Argonauts, they came out a little heavy, drove down the field, scored the first touchdown. It looked like they was rocking and rolling. It looked like everything was moving in great shape for them. And then they got the ball back, and it was 7-0, and it looked like they were going to try to put another drive together. But then the party started. And after Amos picked this ball off, the party just started. He picked this pass off from Unger. Unger used to play here, and I know how tall Unger is. Unger's about 5'7", and I don't know why they did a jump ball to Unger, but Amos just said, "Give me that," and he took it right away from him. And I think Scott Milanovich, Bo Levi, and Kenny Lawler were so unpleased by the way that they just tried to do a jump ball with a 5'7" Unger over Amos that they was like, "Oh yeah, so you gonna try a jump ball? You know what we gonna do? We're gonna do a jump ball to Kenny Lawler over two of your defenders." I'm talking about, it was nasty. It looked like Dumb and Dumber from Toronto trying to jump up and catch the ball with Kenny, but we call that a head tap. That was a great play. And then the defense had another quick defense response, getting them off the field, forcing the team to punt the football. And after the punt, that boy Wooden, I think he scored the touchdown, but this was the best return in my eyes on this punt. This punt return was so fly. I'm talking about, it looked like he got caught up. Number 20's been having a bad day all day. Did a spin move off him, hit the sidelines, and he turned on the speed. I'm talking about turned on the speed, and they just kept rolling from that. And he got 3 points for the team on that because Leggio kicked some points right through and got our team's 3 points. And then we got to talk about this defensive end play. I love defense. So we got to talk about the first play from Garber. He uses perfect technique, scraping the line, 50-50 technique. This is when his responsibility is he has the dive, but he also has the quarterback if the quarterback decides to pull it. This was beautiful technique, and he popped the running back, came down on the dive, and made the play for a big loss. Ball came out, but the Toronto recovered. It didn't matter because the very next play, they got a sack, and I got to give kudos to Monson because, I love defense, and Monson drew up a beautiful blitz. He showed 7, meaning if he's showing 7, Toronto knows that Ticats are going to have one free guy, but they don't know where it's going to be from. And then Monson tricked everybody. He dropped out 2 defensive linemen, meaning they're only rushing 5, but they still look like they're sending 2 off of the edge because Verisuk came to the same side as Julian. And then Julian did a great job taking the tackle's shoulder to make him honor that, and then looped around and got him a beautiful sack. That was a beautiful sack, Julian. But I'm still mad at you because you dropped. I ain't even going to talk about it right now. We're going to stay positive. But then right after that big play, those 2 big plays by our defensive ends, who comes back? Kenny. This was a beautiful call. I'm talking about McFadden. His only job was to stay high, but Kenny did a great job stemming them. Tim White was inside, and he forced a lot of attention coming inside, and then Kenny Lawler was able to stem inside and catch a deep touchdown. Not only catch the ball, keep his balance, and backpedal into the end zone. Great call by Coach Milanovich. He was doing this thing all night. It was so funny. And then Verisuk, look, the big play, another TFL. And that was a great job by Monson, just putting Verisuk in position to make a play because Toronto's expecting defensive ends to be there, see if they could get the edge. But Coach Monson put Cassatonis and Verisuk both coming off the edge, and Verisuk was able to make an easy tackle in the backfield. And this was the most gangster thing I've ever heard from a head coach. When we interviewed Coach Milanovich at the end of the game, he said, we were scoring. The problem was we was just scoring too fast. In translation, I was able to do whatever I want to them, and I had to slow the game down because we was just scoring points too fast. And this is what he did. I call this the drive because he was like, you know what? We're going to show them that we can methodically drive the ball down the field. How does it start? Augustine gets the carry. Boop, boop. Nice little juke move. He gets the first down. Then we give the ball to number 5, Bell. He gets 6 yards on the run. Then we swing it out to Bell. He gets another first down. Then Shamar Bridges gets some action. He gets a first down. Lee Trey's in the game. QB's tush, push, sneak, whatever we want to call it. That's another first down. And then we got Greg Bell in the flat, hit him in the flat. And like, it was just so beautiful. And this play was like, okay, Kenny Lawler's not only just catching touchdowns because Toronto was in cut coverage, meaning the boundary corner has to come off on the 2 receiver if he breaks off because the boundary half is going to stay high. What Kenny Lawler did a great job on this play was he ran right through the defender, meaning that he couldn't get back on time to get to Turnowski on the out route, and Turnowski caught the out route, and the Hamilton boys scored a touchdown in Toronto, and the crowd went crazy. I know I'm saying the crowd went crazy like we played at home, but y'all know how it is. We play over there, the crowd going crazy regardless. They love us. What can I say? It was such a beautiful game. And then we came out in half. You remember Coach Milanovich said, we need to drive the ball downfield. He also said that this was like the best team football. That's the way that the offense is supposed to play. And when they came out in the second half, they completely dominated. I'm talking about they was doing whatever they want. This is the play that set the tone, in my opinion, was when Greg Bell got the ball. He broke into the open field. 2 defenders hit him. Looked like he was going to fall back. Big boy Dobson's like, hold up. You're not going nowhere, and pushes Bell forward. And after that, that was such a beautiful drive, long drive, all the way from 15 minutes to 8 minutes and 33 seconds, where Greg Bell got the ball, pushed to the right side, cut back. It was a beautiful cut back into the end zone. And the offensive line was bullying Toronto all night. They didn't have anything for them, nothing for them. It was just one of those games where nothing was that Toronto did was going to be able to be enough. Toronto did have the kick return where Jarius Grant returned that for a touchdown, but it didn't even matter because it felt like it was just a play like you're giving your little brother or your little cousins the fake controller to play on the game and act like they scored a touchdown. That's what it felt like when Toronto scored the touchdown. I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to confirm it with validity because, look, Franklin was one-on-one with Kenny Lawler. And anytime Bo seen Kenny Lawler, he didn't even have to see one-on-one. It was 2-on-1. If he felt like he could give Kenny Lawler a shot at the ball, he threw it up. And Franklin, his last name Franklin, his first name got to be Stein because he was out there getting cooked. He was skeleton. Kenny Lawler was doing him like his little brother that's not supposed to be in the football game. He gonna have nightmares all day about Kenny Lawler. That was beautiful pass, beautiful catch by Bo Levi to Kenny Lawler. And then Keandre. I ain't hear from Keandre in a minute. I was like, where Keandre been at? He came on. He was like, man, I got to get in this end zone. He came, used that waggle from the third side, got inside of the defender, the safety, number 20 from Toronto, who had one of the most traumatizing football games you could probably have as a defender. He caught the ball right in front of him for a touchdown, and it was pretty much over from there. But then Wooden said, you know what? The punt return wasn't enough. The punt return wasn't enough. You know what I need to do? I need to score a touchdown because they just scored the touchdown. He's like, who is this Janarius Grant guy? They say he's supposed to be nice. I'm the new kid on the block. This boy took this thing to the house, and that was the ball game. I'm talking about that was the ball game, just pure domination. And if you noticed everything, all of the plays were coming from offense was helping defense. Offense was carrying the load. Defense made a play. Special teams would make a play. Their special teams would make a play. Then our special teams would make a play. Still a pure domination of the game. It was a zip 'em up body bag, 100%. Bo Levi, let's talk about it. He had 5 touchdowns, and he was at that number that we love seeing him around 80%. He went 19 of 24. That boy was doing everything. He looked like vintage Bo. I'm talking 2018 vibes, you know what I mean? Looked very good. And now y'all know what time it is. It's time for the 21 players / steppers of the game. On defense, it got to go to the linebackers. I'm giving it to both linebackers because at a total combination, they both had 15 tackles. Verisuk was playing behind the line of scrimmage. Wilburn was doing a great job in his drops. So the defensive player of the game is the linebackers. Special teams. Oh, man. Just put his highlight tape on. It's wooden. Like, let's think. Look at this. He had 4 punt returns for 98 yards at a 24.5 average. And then he also had 5 returns on kick return for 166 yards at a 33.2 average and a touchdown. Jeez. He smoked them boys. Like, it was night and day. And then let's talk about the unsung heroes of the game. Balance attack. Our offense is unstoppable when we have this balance attack like that. And that the unsung hero of the game goes to our running backs. I'm not even just talking about Greg Bell. I'm not even just talking about Augustine. I'm talking about Litre too. Them boys put in work at a total of 22 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. And then in the passing game, you could add another 29 yards to that. And when you're able to have a balanced attack where your offense is running and passing the football, it's hard to beat the Hamilton Ticats. And then it may look like the Toronto Argonauts was scoring touchdowns, but those were all trash touchdowns, and those were all trash yards at the end of the game where Coach Monson is doing what makes sense. And when I say doing what makes sense is he can just sit back and let the team methodically do what they want as long as they're taking clock off of the or time off of the clock. And then, oh man, the player of the game, Kenny Lawler. This boy has 6 receptions for 207 yards at a 34.5 average. Nobody can check him. He had 3 touchdowns. Hold on. I got to call. I can't call him on this phone. I got to call him on the bat phone, you know what I mean? Because that boy went crazy. I got to ask him a question real quick. We got to ask Mr. Kenny Lawler a question. This was pure domination. One of the funniest games to watch, you know what I'm saying? Like, pure domination.
Yo, my brother, what's good?
Oh, man, Kenny Lawler, you live here on What's Happening, Ticats Audio Network. And I just got to ask you a question, bro, because there's been a lot of debates going on in the CFL right now about how the Hamilton Ticats show up. It was crazy. But I just got a question. After your first touchdown, what did you hear in there?
Easy, Ticats fans.
Oh, wait, hold on. After your second touchdown, what did you hear?
Easy, Ticats fans.
Hold on, no, wait. After your third touchdown in Toronto, BMO Field, what did you hear?
Ticats fans.
Hey, I appreciate you for coming to What's Happening, bro. I'm going to get with you. I'm going to finish this show up. But as you hear, he had 3 touchdowns, and all he heard was Ticat fans. Like, first of all, not only did we handle business, we won the way that I wanted to see us win. We won the exact opposite way and showed that as long as we're playing team football, that everybody's going to make their plays, and we're going to be in great shape. 5 touchdowns from Bo Levi, no turnovers. The defense, they led a little bit up earlier in the game, but then they stole the momentum with the Amos interception. And man, I'm going to be real with you. That's what happened. Pure domination. Zip them up, body bag. See y'all next week.
And now you know what happened with Simoni Lawrence.